So today we're on triangles day 5 and we're going to begin our IXL assignments. So today will be one of the next few days that you'll be doing IXL. IXL is going to count as a major assignment grade, so I'll explain that in a minute. But today's assignment is IXL. The do now that you had today was just explaining the new participation grade and a little bit about today's assignment. The screencast each day will be IXL examples, so make sure you watch it. It will show you how to solve different problems in IXL. And today's IXL assignment is triangles, so it's 7th grade W3, classifying triangles by their angles and sides. 7th grade W9, find missing angles in triangles. And 7th grade W10, find missing angles in triangles using ratios. And then 8th grade, exterior angle theorem. I would like you to do 2 IXLs for today, and then you could finish 2 for triangles on Monday. These 4 will count as one major assignment grade. So as you can see on the form for today, there will be the video, and then I list the 4 topics that you have these 2 days, Friday and Monday, to complete. Please tell me on today's form which skills you worked on. It is my recommendation you do 2 a day. If you wish to do all 4 in one day, that is fine, but they will be due on Monday. And just identify that you are aware the average of these 4 is a test grade. I am now going to go through a few examples. So W3 is very straightforward. You have notes, you're classifying triangles by their angles and sides. W9 is finding missing angles in triangles. So you always have to remember a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. But let's look at this example. An isosceles triangle has an angle that measures 140 degrees. Which other angles could be in that isosceles triangle? And we have to remember isosceles has 2 sides the same. So if one angle is 140 degrees, we know that 2 angles have to be the same. So we let that be 2x, and together it has to equal 140 degrees. We cannot have a second 140 degree angle because then that would not make a triangle. So in this case, we subtract 140 from both sides, and we get 2x equals 40. And we realize that the other 2 angles have to be 20 degrees. That is the only option. Another example like that, so isosceles triangle, remember 2 angles are the same, and the one angle is 110. I can only have one 110 degree angle. If I have another one that's 110, that would not make a triangle. So I know it's 110 plus 2x has to equal 180. I subtract 110 from both sides and I get 2x equals 70. I divide by 2 to both sides and I get x to equal 35. So 35 is the only option for the other 2 angles. Now, I want to look at another example like this. This says an isosceles triangle has an angle that measures 68 degrees. Which other angles could be an isosceles triangle? So the same thing, I could have a 68 degree angle and then 2 others that are equal to 180. If I subtract 68 from both sides, I get 112 equals 2x, right? I divide by 2. So I get 56. So I could have a triangle that has 68 degrees, 56, and 56. However, I could also have a triangle that has 2 68 degree angles because they are acute. I could have 2 68 degree angles and then one that's different. So in this case, you have to be careful. If you're given an angle less than 90 degrees, you could have another one that measure. So I add 68 and 68 and I get 136 plus x equals 180. I subtract 136 from both sides and I get x to equal 44. So in this case, I could have a 68, 68, and 44. So 68 is a possibility and 44 is a possibility. You have to be careful and you have to check. Okay, those should have been the hardest examples for W9. If we look at W10, we're finding missing angles in a triangle using ratios. So a triangle has an angle that measures 60 degrees. The other 2 angles are in a ratio of 5 to 7. So we don't know them, right? So we let the one be 5x and the other one 7x because they're in a 5 to 7 ratio. And we know every triangle is 180 degrees. So I subtract 60 from both sides and I get 12x equals 120. I divide by 12 and I get x to equal 10. Okay, so I'm not done. Now that I know x is 10, the angles are in a ratio of 5 to 7. So 5x was the second angle, so that is going to be 50 degrees. And 7 was the third angle, so that is going to be 70 degrees. So the triangle is 60, 50, and 70. I will show you another example like this. Okay, so the same idea. One angle of a triangle is 25 degrees. The other two angles are in a ratio of 11 to 20. So we let it be 11x and 20x. And we know it's equal to 180. So the second angle is 11x. The third is 20x because they're an 11 to 20 ratio. So I get 31x plus 25 equals 180. I subtract 25 and I get 180 minus 25 is 155. So I have 31x equals 155. I divide by 31 to both sides and I get x to equal 5. That's not my answer. Remember, I have to sub it back in. So my second angle is 11 times 5 or 55. And my third angle is 20 times 5 or 100. Sorry. Okay, and you can always check because 25 plus 55 plus 100 should equal 180. So that's how you find missing angles in a triangle using ratios. Okay, you always let the unknown be x. The last topic I want to review is 8th grade 11 exterior angle theorem. So remember that says the exterior angle or the angle on the outside is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior. So I just set my equation. I subtract 84 and I get 51. So x equals 51. So let's look at another example. It is a little harder, but it's the same idea. The exterior angle, t plus 48, has to equal the sum of the interior. So 2t minus 8 plus 2t minus 15. I combine my like terms and I get 4t minus 23 has to equal t plus 48. I get my variables to one side, my numbers to the other, my constants. So I get 4t minus t is 3t. I'm going to get my constants to the other side, so I add 23. And I get 3t equals 71. I divide by 3 to both sides, and now I have to be careful. It says rounded to the nearest tenth. So 71 divided by 3 to the nearest tenth gives me 23 and 7/10. So that is the value of t. T equals 23 and 7/10. I will show you one more exterior angle theorem. So the exterior angle, 5w plus 33, has to be equal to 2w plus 30 plus 48. I combine my like terms. I get 2w plus 78 equals 5w plus 33. I get my variables to one side, my constants to the other side. So I get 3w equals 45. I divide by 3, and in this case it went in evenly. W is 15. Okay, please try your best. If you need help, we are going back to Zoom. So you can join me on Zoom at 11:30. I will help you live. You can share your screen with me. I will send the link and password and an email at 11:15, so check your email. If you requested yesterday an individual time slot to meet with me in Zoom, I will also send you that email tomorrow. As always, you can email me, but when you email me, please provide me with a screenshot of the IXL problem you are struggling with. Okay, thank you and have a great day. We are doing the IXL assessment over this week and next week.